It is the 22nd of April, 2021. I'm Commander Jay Antrax, and this is the Loose Screws podcast. Welcome to the Loose Screws podcast, the loosest and screwiest podcast in the whole galaxy about Elite Dangerous and the community. I have a whole crowd of people. So I'm gonna run them down, man. What's up? Hey, Chig.
I really want to say, hey guys, but I feel I shouldn't because somebody else farther down the line is the person who should say it. So I'm not going to say, hey guys. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back this week after missing last week. And yeah, go down the line.
Right on. Devo Looter, welcome back.
This is the sound of my voice.
Commander Dubs. I'm going to do commanders now. Commander Dubs.
Hey.
Wait, no calling us nerds?
Yeah,
No.
what's up with the what up
Well,
nerd?
Actually, I kind of got that one out whenever I first joined into the channel.
Oh, so that's for us, not
It wouldn't be.
Yeah, no.
listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a direct insult to you, Chig.
Okay. Thanks.
Lieutenant Commander Data. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
NL Hate mutes himself at exactly the wrong time. Hi, bud.
Hey, the person that calls us the nerd is also the person that just dropped $850 on hardware.
First off, I did that 2 months ago. It just took it that long to get here.
Yes.
And it's not just any hardware. It's a HOTUS.
Nerd.
Yeah.
An $850 HOTUS.
Hey.
All right. Shut up. Last on the list,
Aw.
but definitely not least, the fearless commander of the Loose Screws faction, Ty Worsham. Welcome back.
Guys, an ice cream man's success is literally defined by how well they can lure children out of their houses with treats.
What?
This has
More
been
YouTubers
fun
get
facts
canceled.
with Ty.
Didn't 2 YouTubers get canceled about that this week?
Uh-oh.
They're defined by how much they look like Clint Howard. That's how successful.
An
That
ice
went
cream man
over
is a
my head.
legitimate business. I ain't talking about diddling no kids. So,
Well, I was just curious why you were studying ways to lure kids out of the house, but
man, I have this app on my phone. It's like fucked up shower thoughts. I don't know why it's called fucked up shower thoughts, and that was today's.
I have an idea why.
Shit, most of them are just like an executioner sharpening his axe is not menacing. He's trying to make your death more pleasant. Huh. Oh, okay, yeah. That's
Wow.
See, they're not all about little kids. Just today's was.
I don't know. That
See,
second one was pretty rough, too.
I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy, unless of course you're bad at grammar.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Listen up. On this podcast that I'm going to try desperately to keep on track, I felt like, by the way, I performed very badly last week. I was unimpressed by myself on the podcast, and I think I did a bad job of keeping things organized and on track, and I think it was one of our less good episodes. And that's on me. So I'm
let me break in here and comment on that real quick. So first of all,
I was going to say, I think Ty Worsham came back because he's trying to save the sinking ship after the steaming pile I left on the podcast last week.
No. Okay. I'm going to be in and out a lot, and I know me coming back right around as Odyssey's announced makes me look very fair weathery. But I've been listening to the show, and I listened to last week's episode. I thought last week's episode was fine. I didn't have anything negative to say about it. So I'm not real sure where your negativity and your being critical on yourself is coming from. But let me just say this, man. If you go back and listen to episode 1 through about 10, there's a lot of bad in there that I did. There's a lot of bad. My best is still head and shoulders below your worst. So, did I say that right? Your worst is head and shoulders above my best.
It depends what you meant.
Shit.
if you can't handle Jantrax at his worst, you don't deserve Ty Worsham at his best.
Yes, thank you. That'll work. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Oh boy,
I'm in awe of your guys' verbal skills.
magnificent.
If we were in a
thanks.
podcast, I'm just saying.
That's very kind of you to say. However, I'm still going to try to do better. In that vein, I have tried to organize my thoughts before we even begin the episode. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, who knows? Whatever. So there's lots of stuff going on this week. Probably not entirely Odyssey focused episode. Although we do have some Odyssey news. The genetic scanner mini game that everyone was complaining about has been deleted. Phase 4 is set to begin this coming Wednesday, April 28th, and the snapshot is happening tonight. So we'll talk about that. Odyssey's release date has been announced as May 19th. There was a tweet about the Adamastor Hesperus story mystery business, which I'm taking to mean perhaps if you haven't gone to see it, get out there quick in case something changes and you miss the ships, the dredger and whatnot. And a new community goal started today. So that's what's going on. And we're going to talk about all of it. Has anybody, let's see. I haven't done like what's been going on this week. Dubs finally got his Verpal sticks. Let's start there.
Yes, after much waiting, which is say the most annoying part is the fact that I ordered the stick first, the throttle second, got the throttle first, stick second.
I mean, there was some funny business with things not shipping, right?
Yeah. Like they took the payment a month before they actually shipped it, which they're supposed to take the payment right before they ship it. So it took them a month to get the back order done, and then they took the payment, and then it took them another month and some change to actually put it on, give it to FedEx, and then FedEx like stopped updating me for like a week, and then it just like randomly appeared in like Memphis or some shit. I don't know. It was just funky the whole time.
Damn.
But hey, it's here, and it's way better than my last stick.
Right
which
on.
was the X52. You can take a shot.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean,
You can admit
it was
it.
good.
It is what it is. It's a price range thing.
So in order to give my wife the X52, I downgraded my stick back to a Logitech Extreme 3D, and I hated myself the entire time. But
oh
hey,
dear. Okay.
it's over.
Yep. Chig, we didn't have you last week. What you been up to besides working apparently yourself to death?
Yeah, well, I've complained about the whole work thing for a while, and I've talked about quitting for a while, and I finally put in my resignation and stuff, and they've decided to close. Instead of trying to replace me, they've decided just to shut it down, which I don't know. I'll take that as flattering because they're like, no way we can replace this guy. Let's just close it. So that's what I'm going through right now is shutting down a business. And, there's, cars on rent, reservations in the future, all kinds of fun stuff. So I've been working some long hours dealing with, last night I was dealing with phone calls and emails till almost 10 o'clock. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, and then I'm going to be unemployed for a couple months, but still getting paid. So life is going to be full of video games for this guy. And
hooray!
That's what I'll be doing. Yeah, I was so fried in the evening. I wasn't even coming on Discord just because I just didn't have the energy to try to talk. Usually I hop in on your streams and stuff, and I just didn't have it. But now that it was actually just 2 days ago that some final decisions were made. So now there's kind of light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm super pumped. So that's my life.
So what I'm hearing is that if we need another fleet carrier rescue mission, Chig is about to have all the time in the world.
No. I did my turn. Teflon has done his turn. It's somebody else's turn.
I think Data was next on the list.
Well, I've contributed to all of them, so that adds up to one full rescue that I've
I have
Essentially
contributed
done.
to all of them and done one. So right now, I'm not going to start complaining about fleet carriers. It's just very, very tedious. I have no desire. I will sell my fleet carrier before I have to go a 30,000 light year trip again to rescue.
Which we very much appreciated. Avoid
Yes,
gang.
that was very cash money of you.
Yes. Yes, it was. I'm broke.
So Devo also didn't have you last week. What's been shaken, man?
I'm sure you were all crestfallen.
Yeah.
I was a little bit. I
Yeah.
really
That
like
means sad,
your new
yes.
segment.
Oh, well, you're going to be bummed out this week because I barely had time to put together a bunch of notes. I've been busy doing a bunch of audio work and stuff. But on the non-elite dangerous show that I have to deal with, but I've committed myself this week to getting triple elite, and I'm not going to be distracted by anything else until I get there. So the only thing standing in my way is about 70% deadly progression that I need.
Point of
Go
clarification.
after CQC, scrub.
Point of clarification. Are you committed to getting triple elite this week? Or have you committed this week to getting triple elite?
I've committed this week to no longer be goofing around with other silly things like, oh, I need to go get engineering materials. I don't give a you-know-what about that stuff for now. I will not stop fighting in wars until I get triple elite. So right now I'm at deadly 30%, and my goal is to get it done 1% a day. That's what I need.
What you should do is go after quad elite and then become committed.
What's that like?
They put this jacket on you and the sleeves go all the way around to the
Padded
back.
room.
That's right.
Now we have to start going for Hex Elite.
Yeah,
What's that?
and then soon enough.
Yeah.
Hexadeca.
Soon enough, whenever consoles get their share, then you'll have to go to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And we want to talk about some wars.
Oh, that's exactly where I'm at. That's where I've been, and I'm hard at work.
All right. More on that in a minute. First, Data, what's been up with you?
Hey, well, after fueling up Teflon's carrier for that rescue last week, got back into the BGS work, which was much missed during the expedition. Felt like ran into several days of elections in a row across different systems, which makes for a nice, relaxing, evening, a couple of nights a week. But those missions get old to me pretty fast. Couriering data around, stealing stuff, political prisoners.
Couriering.
Yeah. Last night got into some Warren.
Are you having a stroke?
Smell burnt toast.
English is hard.
It was a nice change of pace. And speaking of Chig being broke, I thought I would take tonight to go laser mining during the show.
Oh, dear.
So I'm scraping some platinum off of some asteroids out here.
Yeah, that's cool. I have also been running a lot of election stuff as well as other things. Now, I've found I did a stream on Monday and Tuesday and basically just did elections and BGS stuff on them. And it was very fun. I like to break it up by the very, very fun combat stuff that we've been doing on the side of the election. So I load up on missions for both and go out and kind of tackle everything all at once. And that kind of kept it a little more flavorful. Although tonight it's election only because I don't do combat while I'm podcasting. Hate, what's been up this past week, my man?
I've been doing some very specific mining, and wringing my hands together and petting my big floofy white cat in my spinny chair.
So
And,
evil then.
Pointing the pinky at your mouth.
Oh, I did run across a redacted in our Discord, and they
Ooh.
volunteered to redact. And I've committed some outside assets to a specific thing, but that's all redacted.
Speaking of redacted,
Okay.
and what I've been
All
doing
right.
this week, I've been playing a little bit of Control, that another game,
Oh, a different
Oh.
game.
and I've been unfaithful. That game's a lot of fun. If you're into
I've-
like the SCP stuff, it's a good game. People should check it out if they're interested. That sort of thing.
What's an SCP?
Special Containment Protocol.
Huh?
Yeah, like paranormal.
It's very
Paranormal.
David
Oh.
Lynchian, that game.
Yeah, like
I
a
see.
federal bureau tasked with the paranormal.
We
I
can do
see, I get
acronyms
you.
again if you want. We can just completely derail the show.
Yeah, that was fun. All right. Hey, did we interrupt you?
No, I was finished.
All right. Ty Worsham, I was about to say what you've been doing this past week. I saw you in the stream on Tuesday. You were nice enough to drop by, which is very fun. And by the way, I've received word that other people enjoyed our conversation on the stream about consoles and crossplay and whatnot. Very cool. What you been doing the past? How long's it been since you've been on the show?
Oh,
Couple
I think
months.
I don't think I've been on the actual show in a couple of months, and I'm going to try to start making it more often. I think I said that last time, but poop happened. And I basically just been working, and I got roped into playing Valheim by a buddy of mine, and that game is addicting as all get out.
I've heard good things. Yeah.
I do not like survival games or building games. I just don't like them. They're just not my thing. I get them, but they're just not my thing. And oh my God, this one here is just engrossing. It got me.
Is it because you're playing with somebody else? Because I've got it and I've got a couple hours into it. And it hasn't hooked me yet.
The thing got me is because my heritage is Norwegian. On my mom's side, my grandma came from Norway on a damn boat, so I'm like all up in the Viking stuff. And sure enough, the whole Viking overtones in it. I'm just like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. So, and plus you can drive a ship in that game. I don't know another
You're
one where you
feeling
can
very
drive
primal.
a ship. Yeah. Well, I feel like I need to rape and pillage a little bit. So maybe less on the rape part, but more on the pillage part.
Your priorities are backwards.
Jeez.
Well, that's what they did. I mean, shit. The Vikings were not great people, you know?
Yeah, but they can't win a Super Bowl. Fuck.
No.
Rubbing it in.
I've actually been playing a fair amount of the alpha as well. This alpha is good. I've had some weird bugs. They
Haven't we all?
They talked about that release date, like the 19th. That really does not feel like it feels like it's about 2 or 3 more months out, to be honest with you.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at what they got. I'm like, oh yeah, we got 2 or 3 months. May 19th. Uh-oh.
Maybe the marketing department hasn't gotten word of all the feedback from the dev team yet.
And the game is good, all right? But here's what I'll say about it. If you go back and listen to episode 1 and 2 when we were first talking about this expansion, before they even announced it, I said early on that if they do this thing where they teleport you from inside the ship to outside of the ship, it's going to feel like something's missing. And it feels like something's missing. Like when you just hit disembark and you just teleport outside, man, it feels like 2 separate games is what it feels like, which is kind of okay, but I don't know, man. It feels like there's a gap there, and I really hope they do some stuff to close that gap.
Have you tried a VR headset yet?
Yeah. I have not had great success. It
makes the thing you're saying very more noticeable.
Yeah, I will say that as well.
Because it switches to the cinema screen. So it's like there's a very clear demarcation of this is a different part. And for some reason, the fade to black and the sound of the steps of the person sort of walking through the ship to go to the chair or from the chair is somehow more obvious in VR, to me anyway.
I completely agree. Me too. It kind of feels like you know, when you hit the home button in VR and you go to that little screen, it feels like you're teleporting to that screen and then playing a separate game inside of that screen. Like I've actually seen mods where people put like Nintendo emulators inside of that screen where they can be in VR and play a Nintendo. I don't know why the fuck you'd want to do that, but you can do that, you know?
Because the screen looks huge. It looks like it's a 10-foot wide screen.
Yeah, because you want to stretch out 8-bit graphics. That's what you want to do.
Exactly.
But, I mean, people do it, you know, and they love it. Yeah. And I don't understand it, but whatever.
I will. So just to throw one more thing out, I actually forget who mentioned it. You know, it might have been Malik. But so the cinema VR is now an option in that version of the game, whereas before the VR options, or the head-mounted display options, I should say specifically, were the speaker changes. So you can either be speakers or headphones. So if you're playing VR, this depends on where you want to hear the audio from. So it'll orient to how you turn your head, or it won't, depending on that setting. But now there's the cinema setting, so you can set it so that it will play the cinema in VR. So, like, for example, if people have trouble with motion sickness, especially the SRV or something, you can very easily in the menu now just switch it to cinema, which I think that's rather nice. And he pointed that out as like, I have been playing in VR, like I have an iron stomach in VR, but if I spend a lot of time on rough terrain in the SRV, it starts to get to me. And so when I would go like material farming or something, like raw mat farming at the crystal sites or something, that kind of like sustained thing where you're often on rough ground and going up and down hills. It's like even with the horizon center setting on and stuff like that, it's hard. So now I'm not going to have to like reboot the game and kick myself out of the headset. I'm just going to kick it onto cinema, and then I don't feel the sickness, and then I can kick it back to the regular when I get back to the ship. So that's nice.Consolation.
That's a glass half full.
Yeah.
The biggest transition for me with VR, just real quick, was the audio. Like the way it felt like you were going from this surround sound to like this 2D thing, and it's very disjointing. It doesn't feel. It feels very weird. I don't like it. That's all I got to say.
All right.
How's your week been, Dan? Before you sneak away, you asked everybody else. We need to know what you've been up to, sound boy.
My week was I hadn't done any streams in a while, in almost 2 weeks, and I was feeling the itch, and I got to do that on Monday and Tuesday. Worked the election, the BGS and stuff. Felt good, and kind of back in the saddle. I had been waiting because I was changing some of the stuff over on my setup. My streaming setup, trying to split over to a 2-computer streaming setup. And I only had like half the equipment because there was all this delays in getting it here. But I actually have it all now as of today. So next time I'll be like fully switched over to that system, I think, which is nice, because as much as a 3080 can totally handle single PC streaming for most everything, VR really does kind of push things to the limit. And I keep adding like, oh, I'm going to make this overlay I have better. Oh, I'm going to make this alert cooler and have an animation. And that stuff really starts to add up on the CPU side. But anyway, I don't need to talk about that crap.
Yeah.
It'll be offloaded to a different computer.
My 2080 couldn't handle the Odyssey Alpha and streaming at the same time.
That's a different story.
Awful.
Yeah. I mean, I have. Well, it's odd because in the Odyssey Alpha, because the render pipeline is so unoptimized, it's not even. I mean, it is like a certain level. The 3080 brute forces it a little bit, but there are places on the surface where I get down below 50 hertz, and it's when I looked at that, and it's not pinning the CPU, or it's not, pinning the GPU. It's not going 100% usage. It's in the 60s. So something else is going on. Like there's other things. It's not totally overloading the hardware. But anyway, that's Odyssey. You'd totally be able to do it in the regular game for sure.
One other thing in the headlines that the snapshot thing, are we talking about that later? Or I'm just curious what ship you guys, it says that it's only going to be the ship you're on, no fleet carriers, not the rest of your fleet. You're only getting the one ship and the credits you have. So I'm curious what ship.
No, we can do that now.
What ship you're going to use.
Right. So the
Can I ask a quick question before we go into that? I'm sorry. Yeah. I just want to ask, the way they're doing the snapshot, does it feel really weird to anybody else the way they're doing this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have like a logical reason why that they're doing it this way?
No.
Let me call up the forum thread because they did write a little bit more about it, and maybe we'll gain some insight here. So the news is that May 19, so May 19 is the release, but the phase 4 is going to begin on Wednesday the 28th. And in order to do that, this is the phase where they're taking the snapshot and putting us into essentially the main game, but it is not exactly the main game. So in the past, when we've had betas, they have snapshotted the entire game and everything is normal except you're playing in the update. This is not that way. They are carrying over your credits and whatever ship you're in at the time. If you're in an SRV at the time, you will be teleported back to whatever ship that SRV came from. And that's what you're going to have. You have your credits, you're not carrying over fleet carriers, and they said, though, they are going to have the ability to buy fleet carriers. So you could buy a fleet carrier in the beta or in the alpha and use it that way. About the snapshot will include, this is the stuff I already said. In order to begin, let's see, so the point of this is that phase 4 is going to focus on compatibility testing. I feel like that's the clue that we're being given as to why that's being done differently. And then, of course, full patch notes aren't coming until the 28th actually happens. So, but I that struck me. Compatibility testing, that was the first time I'd seen that yet. So do you think this has something to do with it? What are they actually looking at that they needed to erase, or they needed to not carry over our full complement of ships and so on?
The thing that gets me about it is them not moving over the fleet carriers, because like, why would you not want people's fleet carriers over? Like, very few people who've already purchased a fleet carrier are going to have enough money to effectively buy a second fleet carrier, and no one's going to decom their fleet carrier for the snapshot. So I don't quite understand. Like, it'd be cool, like if they're like, hey, here's 5 billion credits, so everybody can buy a fleet carrier and try it out. That would be cool. Or if you have a fleet carrier, here's 5 billion credits, so you can rebuy it. But that's not what they're doing.
Are you even going to be able to buy a fleet carrier? That might be turned off. They might not just want fleet carriers.
No, it says right here, fleet carriers that commanders currently own will not be transferred across with them to phase 4. However, we are aiming to add the ability to purchase fleet carriers during the phase itself.
They're aiming to add the ability. So it's
well, now,
okay, gotcha.
Think about the way they phrase it. During the phase. Does that mean at the beginning of it, middle of it, or the end of it?
That's how I took it. At some point during, I think they want us in there flying our ships first, and then, then tying in the ability to move fleet carriers, because the
could be
troubles they have at times.
And this is a bit of a walking back from that image they put out when they laid out all 4 phases.
Right.
Under phase 4, they say carriers, ships, fighters, and SRVs can be used.
Yeah.
Well, it's compatibility with existing mechanics.
They're not backing too much, because they're saying that they're aiming to have those in during this phase at some point. So cut them a little slack.
I think phase 4, when we get in there and see what it is, that's when we're going to know whether May 19th feels really soon. It struck me as well. Like, I thought that was sooner than I was expecting. However, I don't know. I mean, the difference between phase 2 and 3, as far as the optimizations are concerned, like if you've tried the alpha in VR, then that's the point where you're pushing things hard enough to notice that a lot of stuff got better as far as the optimizations. But it's obviously it's not there yet. But I think we'll see what it looks like. I mean, this also is a longer gap than the other phases were. So I don't know. I just don't know how to code a game. So I can worry, but I just I don't know.
I don't know how to
need
code a
stress
game,
about it.
but here's what I do know. The way they've kind of done this alpha is in modules. And it kind of felt like when we got to the phase 4, they're going to be like, all right, so here's where we take all the modules and push them into the game. And now instead of them doing that, it feels like they're taking another module or another group of modules and pushing it out and saying, okay, here's the pieces we want to test. We're not ready to test everything because we still know it's broke, but here are the pieces we want to test. Oh, and by the way, it's coming out in a month.
Yeah,
But
it
they
feels
are-
like
I mean,
phase 4 is a multiple phase of its own right now.
Right.
Maybe, but in letting us choose what ship we're going to be in, they are putting all the ships in the game. They're just making everybody's. Well, but what you're going to be able to buy ships and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand exactly what the difference would be, unless it's just like server space or something.
Well, even if you take fleet carriers out of the equation and just said, okay, we're only letting you do your inventory, your fleet. Okay, why are you just making me do one ship instead of the 40 that I own? It's just
They
really
might be stored
weird.
on
Server
fleet
space.
carriers. They might be stored on fleet carriers, and for some
Well,
reason they can't turn those on.
All
See,
right,
right?
everybody log off while parked on a fleet carrier tonight.
See, I'm doing that tonight. I'm purposely doing that. I'm logging off on my fleet carriers. I want to know what happens.
Okay, that's actually that thing. So the thing about your ships are going to be on a fleet carrier, that actually, I think that's it. Because think about it, like they're not actually only adding certain ships to the game, because obviously we could be in any ship. But obviously I don't know. I think this is obvious. Maybe it's not. But when I log out tonight on my fleet carrier, whatever ship I was sitting in on my fleet carrier is just going to appear there in space. I mean, clearly, right? So but that's it. Like you would have 27 ships appear in space, or you'd have to delete them. I bet that'd be harder for the server to adapt to than putting them in.
I thought
they
you
can
said
move-
you weren't a coder, Trax. How do you know it would be tougher? Huh? Smarty pants?
Well, not to sound like
You got
him.
quiet.
You caught him red-handed.
not to
I
sound
know.
like a
He's
complete
done.
asshole here. I mean, a database is the database. Whether you copy one portion or all of it, it's kind of the same moves because it's all the same database.
Okay. So what happens when you decommission a fleet carrier and there are ships parked on it? They move to the nearest shipyard or whatever. So the game would have to reconcile that for everybody.
Yeah, but
at the
not
same
everybody has
time.
a fleet carrier. I mean,
No, but
but at the
but
same time, I see what
every
you're saying.
ship that's parked on a fleet carrier, it would have to do that. This way, they don't have to. It's the one ship. You don't have to deal with ships are stored on this station or this fleet carrier or anything like that. I think that's it.
Yep. I'm going to be AFK a little bit, guys. Thank you.
I heard a guinea. Okay.
Yeah, I heard a guinea pig and he ran away.
That was a
The
rough one.
guinea pig requires his playtime.
Yep.
He better come back because
So-
he's got to be here for Chick Chat.
Okay. All right. Are we good on that topic? Because I'm ready to hit some squadron update. You?
Well, did anybody say what ship they were going to take? That was the original question.
Oh,
Yes.
Ready to move on?
I think I'm going to take this mission runner crate. I'm going to put an SRV in it before I log off.
Courier.
Yeah.
Mission Runner Python for me.
What about you,
Corvette.
Dubs?
Huh?
I'm going to be in my exploration Anaconda
Of course you would. Why
Battle
wouldn't
ready.
you?
because it can do
Go
everything.
find that Thargoid surface site.
Yeah, that's
Seems
why
like it's in there.
I'm going my vet because it's basically just a, CZ fighter, but also has a SRV bay in it and a fighter and just it can do everything. So I'm just gonna be ready. So I
Right
guess that answers that question. All right.
All right, that's the size of it, huh? All right, let's figure out what's been going on with this squadron everybody's been talking about.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
right.
boy. It has been a very impressive week. The Fars conglomerate has had the crud kicked out of them in the Fates system. They're in a control war for their system with not one, not two, but 4 factions above them while they're in a control war. In their home system, which is
Ouch.
some really impressive bad luck for them. Truly.
I don't call it luck. It was fun hard work.
We have several conflicts going in, or that we're going on, or that we're invested in right now, all over the place. Hip, we're in an election. Wodiwodi, we're invested in a war, because we want to be in Wodiwodi. Because that's an awfully nice system, and we need more dick jokes.
And we really don't. All right.
So, if any of your listeners took part in the stuff going on in Fates, we can let Fates rest. We really need to focus on Hip so we can get the Farce conglomerate out of Hip 4907. We also need to hit Wodiwodi really hard because it's the invasion war there isn't going the way we want it to. I think I know what's going on there, and I can probably use some words with a certain person, get it to start going our way a little better. But we'll need people fighting there. We got one other war that's slipped my mind somewhere that we're invested in. It's probably the last expansion we just had into Trua.
Trua, yeah. War versus the Green Party.
The status of Fates could be summarized by the Simpsons meme. Stop, he's already dead.
Yeah. A lot of stuff to do in the BGS, but you can talk about it real quick, and it looks like I'm finished.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's been fun. Elections can be the more boring kind of conflict, but I've been spicing it up by popping over to Fates and grabbing just a ton of assassination missions. And oh boy, my crate's been getting a good workout. It's been good. It's been fun.
Are you elite in combat?
I'm not. I'm 33% deadly. I checked when Devo was talking about his quest.
Duh, you got me beat.
1% a day is a big step every day.
It sure is. I am not moving at that 1%. Pace.
It is
like when we said that?
No, well, yeah, within the last 20 minutes, I got another 1%.
Yeah, it's not too hard, I've found, if you're going into high intensity war zones and just kicking some ass.
I didn't earn the entire 1% in the last 20 minutes. Like, it just went up 1%.
Wow. But I mean,
yeah.
Last week I was at I don't know, probably 24, and today I'm at 30, and it's just knocking out 1% a day, and it's not too grindy. You grab one, just one mission and go out and kick some ass, and you could pretty much get it maybe after a couple of engagements.
And earn some bank.
Nice.
Oh, a lot of money.
Yeah. To go fight some
oodles of cash.
Unless you're buying torpedoes.
Yeah. Or you can go get money mining platinum. Boring.
Yes, it is.
All right. So thanks, Hate, for the squad update. How about we do a Galnet news recap? What do you say?
Sure.
Do you want the music? I'm going to play the intro to the music because I think it's fun. We should make a version of this that I don't have to stop in the middle.
Do I need to send you? Oh boy.
We'll get there.
Devo's Super Rad Galnet Recap. April 1st.
Oops, I let it go too long. Anyway, go ahead.
April 1st to 2nd.
I'll send you the track without any stuff on it.
Yeah, just the music. Yeah.
So this week in the Galnet, not very interesting. That's par for the course. Neo-Marlinists of Madrid sought out sanctuary and were granted conditional amnesty. Faction survivors fled to the Hyades sector and have been given political asylum in exchange for revealing the identities of NMLA leaders. Any comments? I don't know if I should just tear through these or stop after each brief
Snitches
mention.
get stitches.
Yeah, word up. Am I right, dog?
Definitely.
Up top.
I'm not speaking.
All right. Next story. The Proactive Detection Bureau discovered a dozen non-NMLA domestic terrorist cells. And that is pretty much justification for its Domestic Counterterrorism Act, which, the Democratic side of the Federation obviously hates. So Shadow President, what's-her-face, is pining on.
Aww.
Next. I don't have good segues for these stories.
Atreus must have such a boner about that, though.
Yeah, he's delighted.
A dick joke. Great.
5 new orbit starports will be constructed thanks to independent pilots assisting the Kumo Crew Syndicate with ceramic composites, semiconductors, polymers, and water purifiers. So if you took place in that community, go pick up your rewards from Gabriel Enterprise. And the latest community goal is ancient objects left behind by Guardians have been requested by Aegis for a new anti-Xeno research program. Caskets, orbs, relics, tablets, totems, and urns can be turned into Aegis research at the Alexandria megaship in the Delphi system. And if they reach Tier 1, the top 75% will have Guardian Gauss Cannons unlocked and a free 2B Gauss Cannon put in storage. So if you don't have it unlocked, that's a cheap way to go do it. Although, what's the difference? You're still going out and getting stuff.
Well, there's a lot less you have to get. If I didn't have them unlocked, this would be huge. I have like all the Guardian stuff unlocked, so
Right.
I'm not interested. But
but
if you
you're-
don't have it unlocked, that's a big deal.
Yeah, you definitely want to get Gauss Cannons. But what I'm saying is, if you're going all the way out to a Guardian site and getting a bunch of materials, why not stick around and just get the stuff to unlock it? Anyway.
Okay, well, I mean, you should probably, I agree. You should probably, if you're going out there, you should pick up that stuff anyway. But it's totally different stuff because the commodities that they're asking you to pick up are the ones that take up cargo and then deliver them. That's totally different than the stuff you need for the actual unlocks. They're found, well, they're kind of found in both places, all over the place. If I didn't have them unlocked, now would be the time. And I would just get the blueprints and stuff as well, because there's a lot more, you have to unlock the size 2 Gauss Cannon. You also have to unlock the size 1 Gauss Cannon if you want to use that. And some of the other weapons are fun too. The plasma chargers end up being kind of not great, but the shard cannons can be really good on larger ships.
I mean, you absolutely have to have the frameshift drive booster. Should be the first thing on the list.
Yeah, definitely.
And finally, the final story I sort of quickly breezed over, and everyone else seems to know more about it than I do, which is perfect because that means I get to put my feet up and let you guys discuss. But it has to do with the Adamastor. And if people remember, the Adamastor was the 200-year-old ghost ship that showed up and just had a beacon and didn't really deliver much outside of that, or didn't deliver a message that you could understand. This week, well, I'll let you take it from there if you know more about it offhand. This is the ship that's floating around Chukchin 5B.
Data, you were just visiting there.
Yeah, so that was the Halloween event last year when the Adamastor arrived home on autopilot. there was I think there was a beacon on it that you couldn't access. I don't remember that part exactly, but anyways, that's what led to discovery of the sites and some communications that suggested an earlier Thargoid contact than was previously known. Well, just earlier this month, the beacon started giving a coded message that you were able to see thanks to some like de-encryption key from this mysterious person that calls himself Salvation. And that message was what guided us to the Hesperus ship that had been claimed by this Scrivener clan of scavengers, essentially, with their dredging ship that finally made it back into the game, which was very neat. If you haven't gone out and visited that, just to fly around and fly your fighter into the maw of that thing and let it get chewed up. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's the furthest that the Adamastor sister ship Hesperus story has gotten. Oh, and when you spoilers, I guess, when you go to visit the Hesperus and read the logs, it's a lot of encrypted data that you can't read.
So in other words, the story's going to go on.
Yes. You get a mystery mission from Salvation once you get out there to come back to this asteroid station. Can't remember. T-Tauri, I think, is where you turn it in.
T-Tauri, that's the...
And you turn in the data, quote unquote, there. It's just a secret mission turn in. And they say, okay, we'll contact you when the next phase begins. And that's all that's happened in game. And then this tweet came out.
Well, the messages were actually decoded, and it's a very fun read about what happened. It appeared to be...
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the wiki. So if you look this up, I don't know who decoded it or how, but you can go back and read the decoded version of the message, and it's a cool story. It's worth a read. So do that. I would say go and experience it. The tweet that just happened a couple days ago on the 19th says, "Feed interrupted, incoming transmission. Commander, have you listened to the truth that the Hesperus has to tell you? We don't have long. From Salvation." And then it says feed restored, and there's an image there, a sort of distorted image of the two ships, the Dredger and the Hesperus. So, or is that two Dredgers? Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I realize that's actually two Dredgers in that picture. Oh, okay. That's different because I'm looking at it right now. So anyway, but that's the tweet, and tell me if you guys read this differently, but that says to me like something is going to happen soon-ish. So if you want to be on this secret mission with Salvation, I would get out there to that system and scan the Hesperus soon. And who knows, maybe the ships aren't going to be there permanently. I don't know.
Right. That's it for the news.
May 19th is soon.
Yeah.
May 19th is soon. That's a fact. Okay. Hey, thanks for doing the news, man. Yeah, well, I should been meaning to ask you and then forgot to get a clip of that music that just like fades out or something. So that'd be fun.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Here's what I want to do, and I have a feeling this is going to dovetail into who knows what else as far as like Odyssey talk and stuff like that. But the thing that's been sticking out to me, and I kind of wrote a bunch of my thoughts down so I could keep track of them. So I'll just kind of barrel through this, and hopefully that will light everybody's fire, and we'll have a good discussion. This is kind of generally about feedback in game development like this. I think this is just something that kind of has to happen in this situation where they're developing an update for a game that's live. Unless they kept it totally a secret, they involve us, the community, and I think some of it's definitely good. Maybe some of it's actually bad. So, and would this feedback have been better if it was spread out more? I feel like everybody, the comments are like, but how are they going to have time to fix this and that and the other thing? when it's so close to release. So maybe we should have had more feedback along the way. However, is feedback sometimes detrimental? So I feel like the community gets itself into this kind of mob mentality sometimes, and despite our best efforts, we end up getting essentially what we, in quotes, ask for. So the one big example from a while back that I'm thinking of is this open letter about, that was many moons ago, urging the devs to fix a bunch of bugs. And this got probably rightly responded to with some anger from some of the high ups at FDev, and it resulted in essentially the total halt of Galnet and events and story and all that stuff, while they, I guess, decided to acquiesce to the demands and dedicate themselves to bug fixes. And I'm not sure. I mean, we didn't come out on the other side of that going, and that's the time that instancing got fixed, and that's the time that multi-crew started always working. So I don't know. In my memory, like I'm sure there are things I'm forgetting, but I don't look back in my memory of those times as like, man, those updates were really flowing when they weren't working on Galnet. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think about that. But so that, brings us up to now, where the whole point of this alpha is to get expanded testing, which is so helpful, I'm sure. And they keep telling us it's helpful. It has to be helpful. But specifically with phase 3, when this exobiology stuff comes out and we encounter the gene scanning minigame. And generally it's too hard, for one thing. And everyone's kind of complaining about a number of things. For one thing, it's too hard, which they quickly push out a hotfix that kind of reduces the difficulty of it a little bit, but it's essentially the same. But then the overall complaint is still that it's reaction-based and perhaps just generally misplaced. And I've seen a lot of that sentiment seems to make sense, right? Like the thing is sort of in the wrong place. Like the part of the game that it happens in is exploration, which is typically a relaxing, not fast-paced thing that you're doing. Yet you suddenly have to do this thing where you tap the button at exactly the right time, and it's really frustrating and difficult. And that seems like it's in the wrong spot. So maybe the mini game should have been in a different part of the process, or maybe it shouldn't have a mini game at all. Although I feel like that's disappointing personally. Like I worry about deleting all the friction out of a game. I worry that when players encounter something, it's like, well, this is difficult. I should just be able to click my way through this. We're on this slippery slope to essentially an idle game, which is apparently a real genre of games, where you're essentially watching the game play itself, and you occasionally have to push a button, just I guess to prove that you're still watching it or something. But apparently that's a real thing. I think mostly
or
on phones.
alive.
Actually, I think that's called
alive.
Netflix.
It should be. But I obviously realize that we're not anywhere near that with this. However, it's like there has to be an impediment to success, or it's not a game, right? So there has to be a line somewhere where it's like, well, yeah, there really has to be success. This game, this mini game of the gene scanner was sort of similar in spirit to the subsurface mining thing, where the thing's kind of moving and you hit the button at the right time. But that one we don't dislike. And why? I'm thinking, why is that? So it's because, for one thing, mining is not like a super fast reaction activity, but it works there. Now, why does it work there? Well, for one thing, it's not as difficult as this gene game was, but the rewards scale. So if you do well at it, you get a bigger payout. None of that's happening with the gene game. So all these things combine where it's possibly misplaced, it's too difficult, it has nothing to do with whether you succeed or not, or how much your payout is. And the whole feedback is total rage and uproar. And what happens is it's very close to release. They probably don't have time to totally rework it or stick the game in the different part of the game loop where it makes more sense or something, so they just pull it. And so now we're left with a bunch of dev time was sunk into it. It's not going to be in the game. That decision's been made, and they've told us, like, we are not going to put a different puzzle in. It's just gone. They've totally confirmed that at this point. So that's where we are. So did we screw ourselves over? Or did we need to have feedback in the process sooner? Who wants to go first? Those are my thoughts.
I'll start so
Yeah.
that hopefully some, the White Knights after me can save it after I'm a little bit salty. I think Exigeous said it when he was on Flight Assist, on the Flight Assist podcast. He's like, he loves the game almost in spite of FDev at times. And when I first heard him say that, it kind of clicked with me. I'm like, it kind of is that case. I love this game so much, but like with this mini game and stuff, at times it seems like they don't have a plan. At times, they try to do something and then people complain. I know this is an alpha and we're supposed to give feedback and then things evolve, but then they just completely throw it out the window. And I don't buy that it was hard thing. I didn't even try it. I don't know. But this game has such a huge learning curve. Everything is hard in the beginning and you can learn to do anything. So the fact that it was hard, I don't like that argument. But at times it's like that the family argument is like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want for dinner? And that's like, they're just throwing stuff out there and seeing what the consensus of, the noisiest voices shout down, so they get rid of it, and then they just go with what they want. I wish that, they would just make the game, they made an amazing game that I love. I wish that they would kind of stick to their guns and make us stick out some of these ideas, even if they're not great. We don't know until we play it for a little while, a week. I mean, it took less than a week for that mini game before.
I complained a lot about it last week and had a bit of a better time after fixing stupid graphic settings that I had. I can got some better frames
too. Is accessibility, colorblind people and stuff. They go, doing something. It just seems, I don't know, seems colorblind to not see that could be an issue.
Truly frustrating to me about the response was I would hesitate to use the word lazy, but it's like the path of least resistance almost was taken immediately. Like if you miss something up and you get a comment on anything, like in your job, if you get a review like, hey, this isn't working out so good, you can't just say, okay, well, I'll just delete that sentence out of this report and then it's all done. It's all good now. Okay. So that's kind of what it's like to me.
Did we, by the community being as vocal as it is and them so eager just to get rid of it, did we shoot ourselves in the foot by being as vociferous? I guess I'm just making up words at this point. And what we were saying, it wasn't me. I didn't get a chance to get in the alpha at all in phase 2 phase 2 briefly, but I didn't get in phase 3 at all. So I just saw the complaints and heard you guys, last week and a couple other shows talking about it. And I don't know, but man, give it a chance.
Yeah, or make some tweaks to it, or I don't know. Don't just.
Yeah, but they've got a May 19th release date now. They can't rework things too much. They're up against it now.
Diva, what do you got?
Well, I was gonna say, I feel that the concept of community feedback oftentimes is just an illusion. They have the game that they want to make. They'll try some things, and if it goes south, they know if it stinks without people even needing to say something. Honestly, I'm sure they put that in there going, let's see if this raises any ire. And the second it does, is like, yeah, that confirms what we thought. This thing sucks. And it's just easier to cut it. Quite honestly, I find the most
dev time though. Ouch.
But it's probably not that much for all I know. I don't know anything about coding.
I think I think Data actually like scratched where the actual problem was while he was talking, and I became quite jaded in the beta during the first phase and only gave it a second chance once so far. And I did have a better experience the second time. But that minigame might not be as hard once the Odyssey has actually been optimized. So the regular compute machines that we do use to play the game, because not everybody has a 3080. Once we can get 40
Wait,
or
what
50
did he
or
just
60,
say?
Ignore him. Ignore him. It's okay.
Okay.
that minigame might not be as hard as it had been at 60 or more frames a second. It might be that a lot of people are not getting 20 frames a second while they're trying to do it.
Maybe you could be optimistic and think maybe the door is not as closed as that tweet or whatever made it appear. Maybe behind the scenes they will work on something to replace it somehow. It's just gone for the time being. I don't know.
I mean,
That's true.
well,
I mean, there were things that came in later updates, like I'm thinking of like the DSS and stuff was in later parts of the Beyond section, right? I think it was called.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was one of the big updates.
What about, not to get off the mini game side of it, but I mean, even like the suit loadout concept, why, can you have to be in a specific suit to use a specific tool and stuff like that? Just seems odd to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a weird.
I think I understand why that is, but okay, hold on. Ty, did you you just got back, right?
yeah. So
Did you hear? Okay,
Go ahead.
I was just going to
them.
say, do you need an intro into the topic?
No, I've been listening for a minute or two, but
Okay.
I can foresee them either combining the tools or let you cross, like let you move the tools from suit to suit somehow. I could foresee them doing that, but they're going to do something. If they do that, they're going to do something to make it to where it's like you have to take the suit to a shop to get it to move or something. Basically, to where you can't change loadout while you're there. Like you're on a planet, you actually have to go to a station just like you would with your ship. I could
but it's
see
like a hand tool. What tool you're holding in your hand?
It's not
so
just the hand tool. I mean, there's more differences between the suits.
The whole lore behind it, again, Elite Dangerous RPG, is that, like all the computer components are inside of the spacesuit. It's not in the hand tool.
Yeah,
the
but you
tool
can
is
take
just,
like an exploring type ship and make it a combat ship, not the greatest combat ship, but at least you can do combat. That's where I'm coming from. You'd think that you'd mix and match these suits just a little bit.
Which is
lore
why
reasons aren't going to fully justify anything, though, because we can argue one way or the other, and there's always exceptions to lore when they have to make them for the sake of the game. So I think that the main thing that we're trying to get to with having the different suits locked into their particular auxiliary tool is that they are, I see it as trying to correct what a lot of people see as the mistake that happened with engineering, where they eliminated the Tetris part of the game, the thing that CQC still has, right? Like you can't fully optimize everything. You have to pick a weakness, essentially. And so each suit has a strength, but also has a requisite weakness to go along with it. And this is like maintaining that weakness, that the ships that sort of eliminated that by some of the way that we can engineer an FDL to have a strong power plant.
So get back to the rock, paper, scissors kind of mentality.
That's my presumption.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying, though, is that I think the way it is right now is simply because, just like you said, they're working for balance. But I also think that there's going to be a point where they're like, all right, let's pull this off, and maybe you engineer your suit, but there'll still be something you have to give up to make it balance out somehow.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we could have. The differences we notice right away in the suit are besides like shield and armor strength, but like the jetpack strengths.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the battle suit's the weakest and the exploration suit's the strongest. So if we start getting into engineering and finding that we can put stronger jetpack onto the battle suit, then we're in the same boat that we are with ships. We can fix the Tetris essentially.
Right.
We can fix the rock, paper, scissors.
I'm not necessarily. Not necessarily saying I want them to do it. I really like having to have different suits for different things. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, but
not,
I like
maybe not from a logical point of view, but from a gameplay point of view, it makes sense.
Yeah, but something as simple as you mentioned, the exploration suit has the best jetpack, but it has a lot less armor. But why not still be able to have the two weapons so you can be a fast moving troop jumping over buildings? You still get to swap weapons instead of just being exploration. I don't know.
My best answer to that is that I still believe that season 2, because effectively this is season 1 of Odyssey, like when it launches May 19th. Season 2 of Odyssey, or whatever the hell they're going to call it, and maybe season's not the right word, but whatever the next little big patch they do for Odyssey, there will be one where they're like, all right, so here's engineering for Odyssey. And it may not be true engineering, but it'll be something like that.
Gotcha. I don't know. At the end of the day, if we're talking about feedback and people making noise to make changes, just put in artificial fucking gravity already so we can put that
so we can be done with that.
Yes, because the more I think about it, the more that's the way to go with it. Because especially if we eventually get ship interiors, and you can board other people's ships, the combat that would go on, and then if you knock out their gravity generator, it becomes a 0G situation. I just think there's so much gameplay possibility. There's a reason so many sci-fi shows just go with artificial gravity, because it's easy and opens up more possibilities.
The number one reason why so many shows go with artificial gravity is because it's easier to shoot. It's easier for them to shoot from a camera thing. It just makes sense.
Well, yeah.
And I kind of think what you're saying is 100% right. I think that so the artificial gravity thing is a great big lore, for lack of a better term, faux pas that they're going to have to figure out some way to get across. Because in all of the lore of Elite Dangerous, there is no artificial gravity aside from spinning station type of thing. The central fusion
Newtonian. Yeah. Centrifugal. Yep.
So they've already kind of gotten rid of some of the Newtonian physics thing because of the way the ships fly. There's a max speed. With FA off, there's still a max speed. It doesn't make any sense. But the reason they did that is because that way you actually have dogfighting instead of these jousting battles that all other Newtonian games become. So
jousting at super cruise speeds.
Right. It makes perfect sense. So there's going to come a point in which the gameplay is going to overrule the lore. And I don't know where that is. I will say that the way the game is now, it feels weird not having ship interiors. It feels really bad. It feels really bad in my opinion.
I agree.
But if they were to do ship interiors with this, artificial gravity thing that they put in, and maybe it's just artificial gravity in some areas. I don't know how they would do it, but there's plenty of sci-fi reasons to have artificial gravity. So I think it's time that they put it in, and just to hell with the people who are going to blow up about it from the lore perspective, because people will blow up about it.
If I had my druthers, I'd want them to go the other way and just let the art department solve it, because I think everything's currently fine in the game as is, except for the graphics on the outposts. And that's it. And all they got to do is draw them so that everything's strapped down like it's on a ship or out in space, and that everybody's using closed covered cups. That's it. And you're done, basically.
And
I think that'd be fine. And all sippy cups, right? And then,
but you wouldn't need to get the art department
interiors
involved if you just say, "Hey, we have artificial gravity now."
Well, I'm just saying, I think that's more fun. But and then if we get ship interiors, that gives us the possibility that like we could someday have, be able to turn your mag boots off like we turn drive assist off, and leap around and grab onto the other wall or something. I think stuff like that would be great. That's a very someday thing. But
you could still
whatever.
do that with artificial gravity. We're just going to flip the gravity off because we don't know how the hell it works. I mean, we don't know how the hell going beyond the speed of light works right now. The crate has a fucking coffee maker. Sorry.
Your way is a retcon and mine isn't. So that's why I think it's easier.
Here's the thing. For me, like I think about how I'm using air quotes here, y'all can't see, but they make artificial gravity work on other sci-fi stuff. Is I think of Star Trek where they have like these plates, which each meter by meter plate or whatever size they create, I don't know, but each one has like a little gravity plating, which the gravity plating is like a subspace weight that kind of pulls people down. And there's a few episodes of Star Trek here and there where they talk about being able to feel the difference between this deck plate and that deck plate because the gravity is off between the two, which is kind of a cool idea. Why
doesn't that screw up their warp bubble?
Man, you just look. Some things
I'm
you just
saying
have to
this is more problematic than you realize. I think it's easier to just draw in the mag boots.
But you see, the thing is like they're able to. That's how they're able to explain away. Like when they lose all power, they still have gravity because the deck plates they kind of have their own power to do it.
That's insane. Nothing has its own power. Then why? What?
Magnets work without electricity. So I mean, maybe they discover something that creates gravity without electricity. So I mean, I'll buy it.
Mass creates gravity without electricity.
Well, what if? Okay, here's an even crazier idea. Let's say the plates are just magnets, but instead of needing mag boots, you've got to get your iron injection once a week so that you have the correct iron content in your blood to be pulled down. There's going to be
somebody who works out the exact amount of iron to eject, so you can jump super high in areas. Is what it's going to happen.
1,000 years from now, I think they'll figure fucking something out.
Then all your blood sticks to your feet. What about the running your brain? Oh my God, you guys, just draw it onto the outpost.
No.
Then you
give me
stick
artificial
to
gravity.
Then you're suspended in the air by the magnets in the ceiling. Like,
okay, but from a developer's point of view, Trax, what you're talking about is hours and hours of art.
And taking an hour giving a Galnet article.
Artificial gravity.
Artificial gravity. It's being retrofitted everywhere. Let's call that.
Wow. Uh-oh. I didn't think this was going to be the thing we fought about.
We can fight about anything.
I got the
wrong tracks.
We're just going to delete the interiors of the outposts. You can't disembark on them anymore.
Just get rid of all the outposts. Stargoids destroy every outpost in the galaxy.
What the hell is a Stargoid?
Right.
Stargoid.
Stargoids. That's the episode title. There it is.
No.
Make sure you spell STHAR.
Stargoids.
Stargoid.
God.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I will buy pretty much anything sci-fi that you want to put out there. Whatever world you create, whatever boundaries you create, I'll work with it. I will believe, but you got to stay inside your boundaries.
Yeah, don't say there's no gravity and put in a coffee machine. Just saying.
The crate almost feels like they designed the cockpit with the idea of we're going to be able to walk around in it at some point. It kind of that's the way it looks to me. It looks like one of those things,
but without remembering that there's no gravity.
I mean, you can logic away the coffee machine. It's for when you're sitting on the station, you want a cup of coffee before you leave the station because you've got gravity at that point. And then it's useless once you're away from the station. I don't know.
I mean, who's to say that they couldn't? I mean, if you thrust constantly in one direction at 1G, you have gravity.
But it's constant acceleration.
It's constant. You're right.
You set your crate to coffee mode, and it just thrusts up at 1G until you turn it off. This is
Well,
easy.
no,
we fixed it. All right, we're done.
We know that with flight assist off, you'll still reach a speed limit, so you can't continue to
Right.
accelerate. You're going to reach your maximum speed, and then your coffee's going to burn your balls.
Just fly in a circle.
Exactly.
Oh, he's done it. And then you just got to be careful the angle you pour at. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
you've been
solved
quiet
the
in all
problem.
this.
You just match the rotation of the ship with the angle of the trajectory, and therefore you have 1 or 0.9 g or whatever you actually get in the rotation of the space stations.
You guys and your, I don't know how hard it is to develop a game, blah blah blah, but I know everything about physics.
Dubs, what are your
Yes.
thoughts on feedback and whether it's good or bad for games in this game?
I guess it depends on how bitchy the feedback is. Sometimes it's been good, but other times it's been like, oh, well, you don't like this? Well, fuck you. We'll just remove it. So,
Is that what you think happened this time?
probably.
Like, how
Depending on
was
how
it?
busy they are with other stuff. Maybe they'll bring it back. Maybe they won't. Maybe we made them angry by complaining about it.
Like, so my
But yeah, I don't know, because I never had a chance to actually use the plant gun or play the mini game with whatever that is. So
did any
I don't
place get real toxic? Like, other than my bitching about it last week, which was
No, it
partially
was all
my own
you.
fault.
100%.
you.
Well,
In fact, Data, actually, you're the reason they removed it from the game.
all right. Which camera is my camera? Let me turn to the camera and address the audience here, guys.
Do it.
Put it back in. Put the mini game back in. I'll allow it.
Oh my god, if it comes back next week, I'm gonna laugh. We
All
can
right.
hope.
Ty, you had one more thing?
Yeah, okay, real quick. Okay. I got a buddy of mine, works at Riot. Okay. He, like, this whole topic is about player feedback and like the way the companies take it. I can't speak for every company, but I can speak, and this is not even for Riot. This is for another company he used to work for. I can speak for that company, because I'm not going to mention Riot and how they take feedback, most because I don't know. But I can tell you, because he used to work as a community manager at this other company. And the amount of feedback that companies take from forums is 1%. And maybe the percentage is actually wrong, but that's a good idea. They don't really look at it like that. They send out surveys. They have they bring in people, kind of like focus groups, to play different parts and talk to them about what they think about different things. Those are the parts that they focus on more than forums. So Frontier may be taking a different approach. It feels like they look more at forums than anywhere else, is what it feels like. Because,
Yeah, I agree with that.
But okay, I liked the mini game. I thought it was cool. My only complaint about it was that they needed to slow it down, because it felt too fast paced for exploration. Because my buddy who used to explore, he played the game in a very slow aspect, very slow, and that aspect of exploration, he would not have been able to participate. It would have been too fast for him, would have drove him crazy. So from that, if it was slower, like there was a video we had somewhere where like it looked like you were manually manipulating the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
like with the
fan-made
mouse
thing.
wheel or something. Yeah. That version would be perfect. I like the little mini game. There's a mini game to core mining. There's a mini game to subsurface mining. There's little mini games all over this thing. There's a mini game to exploration using the scanners and the DSS scanner or the surface scanner. There's little mini games all over.
Both.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I love it. I love all the little things. Keep it up. But you needed to tweak this one, not remove it. And it's kind of like what they do sometimes, where just like if they're steering into a skid, they overcorrect. And you guys don't like it, we're just going to take it out. It feels very much we're taking our ball and going home kind of feel. And
So it's easy to feel like it's hostile like that, but
yeah,
but then we started this off by saying May 19th is really close. So that has to have something to do with it, right?
it does. But also I kind of look at it like, so they don't have a variable for the rate at which the things scan or spin. They don't have a variable on that they could tweak somehow. Maybe the better scanner you get, the slower it gets. Maybe it starts off really fast, but
engineer your scanner.
Yeah.
I was thinking engineering too.
Okay.
Great.
All right, I want to get. Oh, sorry.
No,
you finish.
Anyway, I think that companies and game companies in general tend to overcorrect. Was my point. So that's all I got.
Could be. Hate. I want to let you weigh in here.
I don't think I actually have anything.
We should have just yawned.
Okay, let's do this then. I would like to everybody think of what would be your ideal replacement for the minigame, or if you actually think there shouldn't be one, then just go with that, and we'll just go down and that'll hopefully bring us to a little bit more than just salt, right? Who has an idea in mind? I do if nobody else does.
I just something instead of just a fast twitch, hitting. It was easy. It was just a timing thing, but people don't like stuff like that. More of a puzzle of some kind. Maybe it was the 3 rings just had to be aligned right. You could turn them at whatever speed you wanted. You just had to make the pattern right. And if you did it better, you got more of whatever you were harvesting.
I'm getting kind of like lock picking vibes. Lock picking.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, that's all I got. I really, whatever decision they made, I'm fine with. I just want it to not bug out. Not that this was bugging out, but as long as they put out something that isn't some new bugs that cause other issues, I don't care what they do, because I don't know how much plant gunning I'm going to do. I'm probably going to, become elite plant gunner and never use a plant gun again, to tell you the truth.
Elite plant gunner. I love that. Dubs, do you want to give us an idea?
I don't know what I would replace it with, because I don't know what I'm missing. Like I never got to experience the thing that everyone is so mad about, to know what changes I would make to it. So I don't really have any valuable input for this. I do want there to be something. Like I don't want to just point and click, watch an animation, and it's done. Like that's like laser mining, and it's trash. So there should be something. I just don't know what. That's all I have.
Jada, what's your ideal?
I don't have any big ideas. I like what I've heard from others, like that fan video idea. I like what I heard Down to Earth Astronomy say when he was streaming it for the first time. Like he would rather, and I think I would rather, more of the effort be put into finding the
Nemo.
unique species touching the butt and finding Nemo. like having the search be more challenging than just looking for the green pulse wave scan. And then whatever they do with a scanning mini game, I would be fine with. I think this one, it was, I don't know, considered dead on arrival or whatever by the community, because it was something new and a little weird, and the tolerance on it was too tight, which they tried to fix. It was too hard to get, and the mechanic of it bumping you out a level each time you made a little mistake on that with that tight tolerance. I think that all combined just annoyed people too much. So it kind of was doomed from the beginning.
Right. Hate, do you want to give me something?
Yes. I think that it had to have made it at least into the alpha after some internal play testing. And I reckon, like I said before, at 15 frames a second, it appears far too fast to be a part of the exploration game loop, and that before they do just axe it, I think we should give it a shot at whatever frame rate you normally play at. And if that fan made one, I haven't watched the fan made thing. I did see that somebody linked it in the Discord, but I've been keeping my hands busy with other stuff. If that
Gross.
if that could be implemented,
Phrasing.
and I've been derailed.
You think the puzzle where you essentially rotate them
Yes,
on your own with a scroll wheel or
Yes.
whatever, and then click when it's lined up correctly? Yeah.
That might be, a secondary option that would fit the exploration game loop.
Yeah, the pacing of it and stuff. Ty,
Okay.
what's your ideal?
Here's what I want. Have you guys ever played Mass Effect Andromeda?
No.
Okay. I recently finished this game. First of all, it doesn't deserve the crap it got. Second of all, it should have been a hell of a lot better than what it was.
Whoa.
That's
But
what I
At
know.
launch,
That's what I know.
It
of
deserved a
is-
lot of the crap that it got because at launch it needed a lot more polish and shouldn't have been released in the state it was at launch.
I played
Talking
it at
about
launch.
Odyssey?
No. Anyway, there's a mini game in that, and what you do in that is you have to open up these alien tombs, and what you have to do is find runes that you have to scan, and after you scan the runes, you then have most of them are little 9x9 puzzles, and each of the are 3x3 puzzles, and each of the rows can't repeat the runes. Okay, so you'll have like a little 4x4 square, and you have to pick the runes that line up, and they can't repeat, which sounds easy, but it gets pretty
Sudoku.
right. It gets pretty It's exactly what it is. It gets pretty complicated later in game when you got a full size grid of like 12 by 24 or whatever the hell it was, and you only have 4 runes, and you have to make them all work. It gets pretty complicated now, because that's exactly what it was. What I want them to basically take that and apply it to the exploration side of Elite Odyssey. So what I want them to do is basically you go up to a plant and you scan it, and you get like a little piece of the genome. Eventually, when you get enough genomes, you then pull out your little, tricorder or whatever the hell you want to call it, and then you start piecing together the genome in the right sequence based on the right order. And it doesn't have to be like, runes or whatever. They can make it whatever symbols they want to make it. And then once you have the right pieces, then you can place it together, and you got the genome, and you go scan it again, and you're done. That requires 0 reflex. It requires 0 twitch. It's all about the mind. And if they were to take that idea, that one of the best parts of Andromeda, I thought, and modify it a little bit and put it in there, it'd be almost like a sub game where you have to find, like, maybe some of the pieces of the genome exist on different planets inside of a system. So there's a reason to go to all the other planets. Or maybe you have to do it inside your codex to get it all to line up and work. That's what I want. What they came up with wasn't bad, but it fell out of place with the game loop of exploration.
Right. Okay, so for me, I think I agree that, I didn't super hate that game either, but it did kind of ache of it's in the wrong place because the pace of it being a reflex thing. So I think the puzzle version that somebody made on YouTube would be a great thing. They've already absolutely said no to that, of course, but I think that probably would have been met with like, okay, this is fine, and there wouldn't have been any trouble. But I think probably the better solution is to take the game out of that, or at the very least make the part of the game where you're having to scan enough different plants, right? And if they like using their pulse wave mechanic, they borrowed that from mining, then that's fine. We can use that to tell if they're genetically diverse enough. But if there was going to be a mini game besides that pulse wave business, I think it ought to be out in Super Cruise in the DSS, like when we're resolving where the things are on the planet. That follows with the spirit of exploration, right? And it could be something to do with tuning or matching up frequencies, or maybe you're sliding a spectrum, like a spectrum analysis underneath a comparative spectrum analysis of different kinds of life until you find the one that lines up. You're doing spectroscopy essentially, like something like that, where you're basically doing the game to resolve that heat map before you go down to the planet. That'd be a cool place to stick a mini game, I think, if I had my way. So there. And obviously my opinions are extremely informed by everybody and Down to Earth and everybody who spent a lot more time messing with the thing before I even got in to test it. So
yeah. Right on.
I'll actually say this one more thing because I can. If you look at the other mini systems in the game, they're kind of somewhat based in science, and this one here didn't feel like it was based in science. The DSS, the Discovery Scanner, that wavelength is kind of based on real X-ray wavelengths of different things across the spectrum, and it might be. I may have to. Go ahead.
No. I understand what you're saying. I mean, yeah, it's like X-rays at one end and down to radio or whatever, right. etc. I actually the gene scanner is a little bit based in science in the sense that like the height and intensity of lines on a grid, which is often represented circularly, is how we compare genomes. You're looking at very specific parts of it, but like if they're like blood sampling and they're trying to like do some forensics at a crime scene, they're going to be looking at the markers, and it does look a little bit like spectroscopy. There are some of the lines are longer and some of them are shorter in different places, and you match that up with another blood sample, and when they match up, it's like, oh, this is like a mitochondrial DNA match. So that does actually, they did intend to make it look a little bit like when you're doing a gene analysis, or I don't know what to call it, but there's a word for the kind of graph, and it does look a little bit like that, to defend them a little bit on that one. Anyway, I conversation assassined this place again.
It's all good.
Okay. Anyway, it's whatever. It didn't work for various reasons, and it's been axed, and oh well.
Yes.
I do find myself a little disappointed, but it's okay.
I'm disappointed that there's not.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get. I think we're coming to the end of our program. Does anybody have anything else they want to stick in here before I kind of do the community socials and the reminders and whatnots?
Chick chat.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that first. Yes, good plan. Unless nope. Okay.
Ty left.
Let's see. Ty left.
Okay, he's back.
He's back. I was just gonna say, do you want to sing a new Chick Chat for us? Or do you want me to play one of the magnificent ones I have here?
Hold on, let me think of a Chick Chat. No, my Discord just said to take a complete shit here. Hold on, let me think of a Chick Chat.
Okay. I'll tell you what.
I'll wrap it. That's what I'll do. Okay, here we go.
Another
okay.
rap.
Yep.
Wait, have I already done a rap?
You did, technically.
Epic rap.
Okay. Have I done a pop rap? Or have I done a pop song? Chick Chat.
I don't think so. God. Can you give us like a Mariah Carey?
I was thinking if I could access my inner Britney Spears. Hold on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah. Baby.
Get it, girl.
Hit me, baby, one more time. My loneliness chick is killing me. It's Chick Chat. That's all I got.
Oh God!
That's all
Wow.
Trax needs.
That's all I need. Chig me,
Well, I'm
baby, one more
glad-
time. Okay.
Chick me, baby,
Chick me,
one
baby,
more time.
one more time. Oh my
Oh,
God.
hold on.
Well, I'm glad you showed up tonight,
yeah.
Kai. What-
Yeah. Chick me, baby, one more time.
Where the cheese at? Okay, so I was gonna do one Chig Chat. I was just gonna be a random movie type thing, but then all of a sudden I was updating the spreadsheet with stuff, and tonight's episode is episode 84, but there are 16 bonus episodes that were interviews and whatnot. So this is actually the 100th episode of Loose Screws to be published.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
100 episodes. Yeah, kind of. I was like, whoa, look at that. It's episode 100. So I thought I'd start with just a few little statistical things. Like, how many minutes of the show, not counting tonight, do you think have been recorded?
I don't even want to
God.
guess.
More than 100 minutes.
Well, more than 100 minutes tonight, but
Yeah.
10,908 roughly. That is a lot of freaking jibber jabber. How many episodes has Ty been on, including tonight, of the 100?
56.
43.
Oh, you undershot yourself a
He
lot.
knew that one.
76.
Oh, I thought it was.
76. Yep, you've been in over 3/4 of them. What about our good buddy Jan Trax, who's been helming this thing for a while? How many have you been on, Trax?
I turned up in the. Did I turn
Actually,
up in the
let's do that.
20s?
The very first episode you did is when the new theme was introed. Which episode was that?
Yeah. I feel like it was in the 20s. Is that
Episode
correct?
12.
Yeah.
Whoa,
November
okay.
7th, 2019. Episode 12.
Jeez.
The theme song to the show was introduced, and Trax was on that episode. And that was his first of 58 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, I did some every other for a little while, and I missed several of most of the interviews, I would say.
Yes. Who's been on the next most number of episodes?
It'd have to be you, wouldn't it?
Actually, it might be Dravenos.
It would be Chig with 44.
I know nothing
Yup.
then. I know nothing.
Yep. After that, it's actually NL Hate. NL Hate's
Whoa.
been on 35.
I do try to be very punctual.
Yep, he's been here 35. Dravenos has been on 21 episodes. This is if you're counting the
Interviews.
50th episode where we had everybody here.
Mhm.
He's been on. He was on 21. Kai Zen was on 31 if you count the 100th episode. But the last time he was on the show, we're just 1 week away from him not being, since he broke off Elite Week to its own show. It'll be a year next week. Can you believe that shit? It's been a year. So,
Yeah. Wow.
Dubs, when were you first on the show?
I don't know.
Episode
I'm
23.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
You were
February
the featured
8th.
commander.
You were on the show in which Kai explained the reason behind the naming of the show about the loose screws and all of that stuff. It was right after that Jan Trax made an ad to post on the show about Distant Screws 1.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, April 9th, I made my first Prestige, got a shout out on the show for it. So it's been over a year since I got my first Prestige. I'm really close to finishing that, or finishing off all my Prestige. I think I'm level 49, Prestige 7 right now. Let me see anything else here. Data, and who's here right now? Data's been on 19 episodes. Devo 12. How many episodes do you think you've been on, Dubs?
8.
Yeah, 5. At least 1.
Well, you've said at least 8 words over the course of the 22 episodes you've been on, so that's good.
Okay.
And I think the only guy I didn't mention is Nurgle. He was on 17 episodes. So, random stuff like that. I thought I'd throw that out there, being that it's the 100th episode. Just a few little stats like that. And congratulations on starting something that's been around for 100 episodes, Ty.
Yeah, way to go. And what is that? Right around 17 or 20 episodes ago, when JN started Operation Hide in the Crowd, and suddenly there was like 7 hosts.
You failed miserably at hiding in the crowd, but yeah, you definitely. I don't know. That was more episodes ago than that. Yeah, just started.
Yeah. Well, that's how we have everybody who's been on like 20 or so.
Yeah. About the 20. Yeah. So 20 episodes ago ish. More than that, because, Data's pretty consistently here, but he's missed, half dozen or so weeks. Nurgle's pretty consistent, but, not everybody's here. Like Trax, you're just a solid wall of being here.
I'm afraid it's not going to happen if I tell you guys I'm not coming. I'm afraid nobody will tell Craig to record.
Keep that in mind. Craig doesn't listen to you. You think he's going to listen to me? Fuck. Fuck that guy.
Here's what I want to say about that. When I had to take a step back from the show, it was you guys that decided to keep going. We wouldn't have made 100 if it wasn't for y'all. Because I don't know when I would be coming back to it full time. I don't know if I'd be coming back to it full time. The only reason why I want to come back to this show is because I like you guys for some stupid reason. So
unexplainable.
I know, but
it's bizarre. We don't like ourselves.
So like I said, if you said I was on 70 some odd episodes,
76 episodes of this you've recorded.
So if you take off, the 1 or 2 episodes I've done since then, we'd probably be on episode, 70, 77 right now, 75 right now. So that's what I think about that. You guys kept it going. So thank you guys for that.
Amen, brother.
Hi, Captain.
Actually, I lied. 75. You've been on exactly 3 quarters.
Yeah, bitches.
Sorry, 75. 75. Yep. 3 quarters. It's been a good run. Everybody's favorite episode is still episode 2, where you did it all by yourself.
Oh, that's a damn lie.
That's one of the shortest episodes ever, too.
It's like 30 minutes or some shit. Apparently,
40. You
talking
rambled on for 44 minutes, dude.
Ty's manifesto.
I have the ability to ramble. I have the ability to ramble for quite a while.
Do you know what the average length of episodes has been? 110 minutes.
So,
okay, all right.
What's the mode and the median?
Don't have that. I've got the max and the minimum. The shortest show is 20 minutes. The longest was 4 hours, 14 minutes.
Gotta be a Kai episode.
What?
I didn't think they made it over 3 hours.
Oh yeah, there's a 4 hour 14. There's a 3 hour 17. There were some long ones. A 3 hour 19. Oh my God, 3 hours 44. 3 hours 35. So yeah, there's been some long episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it.
Well, this is cool.
That's all I had for Chick Chat.
I didn't know we were doing this tonight. That's pretty cool. Well,
neither did I when the show started. I discovered it in the middle of the show. It's not like it was great show so prep.
Well, yeah, sincere congratulations, everybody. I did kind of try to gather some trusted comrades to back me up, because there may come a time when I can't make it for some reason, and I would love for you all to do it. I know you all could, even if you are nervous about it or whatever.
No, I've done it one time, and that was our 4th April Fool's episode, and I figured Ty would never talk to us again after that one.
I actually have
That's
an
a good
April.
one.
Okay, so real quick, I have this thing about April Fools. Like, I don't do April Fools stuff. I hate all of it. And the reason why is because I'm a fucking sucker.
Did you think I'd gone to jail?
I'm the guy on the website going, oh man, I can't wait till they implement this. And then next day, oh yeah,
Half-Life 3 is coming
April
out.
1st.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm the guy sitting there enjoying or thinking, oh, that's stupid. I can't believe they're going to do that, and then find out the next day that it was all bullshit.
Remember Google Smell-O-Vision or whatever when they were doing that on April Fool's Day? I had a coworker that came up to me with their phone. I don't smell anything. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Keep scratching it.
So I actually have kind of a semi-tragic story about why I hate April Fools. If y'all want to hear it.
Oh God.
You're going to make me feel bad about doing that episode.
No.
You?
I mean, anybody who enjoys it, y'all go right ahead. But so, okay. So my first wife, Alicia, and for some reason she's hearing this. I don't care. But
bless her heart.
Yeah. So she loved April Fools and loved to play pranks. And she got me one year. So her friend got pregnant, and we had decided that we were going to, stop using birth control, and whatever happens, happens. We weren't necessarily planning, but we were just going to stop using things. And it's been a few months. So April 1st, I come home from work, and she tells me she's pregnant, and she shows me a pregnancy test. She lets it go for 3 days.
Holy fuck.
I'm at a point where
horrible.
I'm at a point where I'm shopping for houses, and we're planning on when we're telling parents, stuff like that. And then she tells me, like, at one point I was like shocked, and oh my, like with my childhood and whatnot, I never wanted to be a father, never. But I had reached a point where I was just kind of like, all right, whatever happens, happens. If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, just wasn't meant to be. And then she tells me it's happening, and I had kind of come to terms with, okay, I could be a decent dad. And then that happened. By the way, I'm still not a dad, so
And you were so confused because you didn't even have sex with her. It's just.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because the next year I find out that she was cheating on me, and she wanted a divorce, and she was actually cheating on me at that particular moment. So,
oh God.
Yeah. I found out a year later on April 1st.
Oh man.
She wanted a divorce, and I was
take you three days to come to terms to believe that it wasn't an April Fool's gag this time.
No, but I was in there laughing at her like, you don't want a divorce. You're fucking with me. I remember last year. Ha ha ha. And then she left the next day.
Ouch.
That's depressing. Why would you bring that up?
That is a series of unfortunate events. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I remember sitting there going, I sat there and like Warcraft raided that night while she's packing her shit. I'm like, man, you're really going all out on this one.
It's like that guy on YouTube that's reviewing whiskey while his wife's packing up in the background.
Anyway, so that's why I don't like April Fool's Day. So,
well, it's hard to blame you for that. Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, hey, we did an April Fool's episode. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Well, this has been great. I'm gonna. I have something to play from Suverine from Lave Radio and Sagittarius Eye magazine. So we're gonna hear a little special message from him, and we'll be right back.
Greetings, Commanders. After a few months' holiday, we are absolutely thrilled to say that Sagittarius Eye magazine is returning this month. Issue 35 will release this coming Friday, 23rd of April. Sagittarius Eye is the premier community-made Elite Dangerous magazine, established in 3303. We cover all manner of topics relating to life in the Pilots Federation. The magazine is a completely free download made by fans for fans. The reintroduction of Galnet, community goals and narrative to the Elite Dangerous universe last year, and the announcement of Odyssey have really energized our team. Our designers and editors involved in making the magazine have returned from their holiday full of enthusiasm to get back to their typewriters and boxes of crayons. This is probably the most exciting moment for Elite Dangerous since the release of the game in 2014, and we couldn't be happier to be there for it. The new series of Sagittarius Eye will cover the Elite Dangerous galaxy as it always has, by commanders for commanders. The magazine will be all about player-generated stories. What you fly, where you go, how you fight, where you explore, what you get up to in Frontier's wonderful galaxy. We'll feature player groups, ship builds, exploration guides, expedition write-ups, event reviews, equipment guides, interviews, deep dives into the game's lore and history, and much more. For the duration of this series, the magazine will revert to its original release pattern of monthly issues across all formats. On the subject of formats, we're adding a new one to our offering for this series. For the first time, we're going to make printed copies available to readers. Small batch printing and postage is very expensive, so it'll be added as a premium tier on our Patreon page, but we're happy that the option will finally be there for readers who have long asked for it. As well as that, we will offer the magazine in regular web PDF, mobile-friendly PDF, and fully voice-acted podcast, perfect for cockpit listening. Each format will feature the same well-researched and carefully edited articles, designed to enliven your travels around the bubble and beyond. Sagittarius Eye issue 35 will arrive on Friday, April 23rd. Disembark at sagittarius-eye.com from 5 p.m. British Summer Time to catch it.
All right. Cool and exciting stuff from Sagittarius Eye magazine. I am going to tag some stuff here at the end that I should probably put at the end of every episode, so I'm going to start trying to do that. If you like the show, please give us ratings and reviews on your podcast app, wherever you're getting this, if it's Apple or Spotify or whatever. Just look down at whatever you're listening to this podcast on and post a review. It will help other people find the show and enjoy it in the same way that you are. And you can find our Discord community at discord.io/loosescrews and find the merch store at loosescrewsed.com for mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. And I just got done this morning putting up new designs for using the Distant Screws 2 emblems that community member Rabbi Bob created. And they look great. They're on mugs, and they also had these like stainless steel water bottles and tumblers and stuff. So whatever, sure, I'll put them on all of it. So, and I put a bunch of colors on the mugs too. They just have all these options. So I basically just turned on everything that didn't look terrible. So I think the white one looks the best, but hey, buy whatever color you want and represent the Distant Screws 2 merch. We're at that point in the show where we're gonna need some cheese.
Was Hate doing another thing also this week?
Well, okay. So when you weren't here, sometimes Hate was doing a beer. So yeah. Is the segment expanding, or are we now officially beer cheese?
No,
I mean, I have no reason why not.
I'll do the beer when there isn't cheese.
Okay. I was thinking you could start doing a beer at the beginning of the show to tell us what we're supposed to be drinking for the show, but all right.
Oh, I like that.
I got yelled at last time.
By who?
I actually do have a rule on this. No wine and cheese. No wine.
No wine and cheese?
No wine.
Why are you whining about that?
Then I can't talk about mead.
Okay, let's cheese it.
All right. Being the 100th episode, there's only one cheese that we can go with, and that's our favorite sponsor, Craft Singles. You don't like it? Fuck you. Stay cheese, everybody.
Thanks, Chig, for that important message from our sponsor, Craft Singles.
You don't like it? Fuck you.
And all that's left for me is to thank my comrades, Chig, Dubs, Data, Hate, Ty Worsham, and Devo, who had to step away partway through the show, for joining me. Thank you all for listening, and fly loose and fly screwy. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.